another fun episode with your favorite Mouse Moms, Jennifer.
Hello.
Lori.
Hi.
And Juliana, that's me. Here we are, a new year. January's almost over, and maybe it's time to start checking in on those resolutions. How's it going, girls? Not good? Did you make resolutions?
My year doesn't start till February.
Okay.
My year started in 2019.
Right?
I'm just going to redo that year every year.
No, 2019. Yeah. Okay. So no resolutions until...
No, certainly not a resolution like your crazy butt.
I know. Yeah, no. Okay. So some of us are trying to make improvements. Some of us are going after bucket list goals. And I am doing that. It's the Disney Princess Half Marathon for me. I've always wanted to. I never thought I could. And I could never find enough information about it either to convince me. I feel like there was, at least when I started looking, a little bit of a missing segment in the Disney population here on information about it. But this year I stopped making excuses. I'm about halfway through actually more than halfway through my training. I've only got a month to go. And
run, Juliana, run.
I wanted to share with you how I got here. But I did have help. And one of my helpers is right here with us today. We'll be chatting with our friend, travel agent, and Run Disney veteran, Katie Gabbard. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Welcome to Crazy.
So we have lots to talk about Run Disney. Katie has given me a lot of tips and stuff. So I wanted to have her on so that she could share all of that juicy stuff with you. But first, of course, the Mouska cocktail.
All right. So apparently we have to talk about water because we're talking about racing. So
when you say it like that,
I just didn't want anyone to come back and yell at me about talking about drinking after running. You have to hydrate responsibly.
Once you have safely hydrated after your race, you may want to celebrate with a sip or two of something a little bit better than water. We love the idea of strolling around the World Showcase to replenish all those calories that you used in the race. So many options that you can find around the World Showcase, of course, but let's head to the American Adventure, where you can get a frozen Red Stag lemonade, which is a frozen lemonade. I've never had this. So it's frozen lemonade, Red Stag black cherry bourbon. So it's basically a frozen boozy cherry lemonade, which sounds amazing.
Why have I not had this? Right. And think about after running 13.1, like after properly hydrating and feeling like you're halfway human again, maybe cooling off with one of these as the day goes on.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think, Katie? Crazy or not a bad idea?
Water.
She's like, what are you doing? This is not
okay, so it's not training. A tip. See, water. You got to do the water.
But
I'll do water.
This is why Jen and I don't do marathons.
Yeah, I was going to say, those of us who are just cheering you or like heckling you will be standing there drinking your Red Stag lemonade while you're drinking your water.
With electrolyte tablets, guys. Don't forget the electrolyte tablets.
Delish.
I'm going to eat so much food, though.
For the rest of us, it's Red Stag lemonade from the Fife and Drum kiosk. Yum.
Yeah. That's delicious.
I'm going to listen to Katie and not you two bad people.
Yeah. See, I would finish that race and immediately be like, Jen, I need 3 drinks. I need them in your hand at the finish line so I can take them and down them.
Let's go back to the beginning of that sentence.
I know.
No, there's a no. Anyway, let's have the runners.
I'm probably not even gonna want. Although I think I might have had a beer after last Saturday's run.
I'm pretty sure you'll drink after the run.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I definitely will want to celebrate somehow. Welcome, Katie. We're really happy to have you. I'm going to defer to you because I consider you a Run Disney expert. How many races have you done now?
I just finished my 8th half marathon at the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. I've done a few other distances sprinkled in there, but
do you only do Disney races?
No, I do a lot of local races. I've recently just gotten back into running. Within the past year, I've did a little bit, here and there throughout adulthood, but now that I consider myself done having babies and being pregnant, just back into it. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. So what keeps you going back to Disney though?
I mean,
But I mean, for the running, why run Disney versus other races?
It just has the Disney touch. There's the Disney difference. It's more laid back. There's character stops. There's entertainment along the course. It's really well. It's a really well supported race with a lot of water stops, which you don't necessarily find as many supported stations on local races. So it's one you don't have to think as much about providing your own fuel. And then obviously it's just the Disney fun. If you're a Disney fan, you love Disney parks, then this is kind of a no-brainer to at least try it once.
But I love how they're always themed. I was really sad because when we lived abroad, I wanted to run the half at Disneyland Paris because it was a villain theme where like the villains were the characters and they would sort of chase you. And it's not as big. There aren't as many runners. I think maybe typically around 5,000 runners. Well, I think Jen just made a face like that's not a little amount, but I think with the regular Walt Disney World, we're looking at 20,000 runners at every race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even picture that.
Yeah.
I need to Google photos because I mean, it looks big when you're looking at the corrals. I've seen pictures of the corrals at the start of races, but it does that just sounds like an obscene amount of people that you're fighting with to run.
Well, it thins out past the start. Like, people kind of fan out. So if you're not like shoulder to shoulder with people, there's a few bottlenecks on some of the
I suppose
courses,
it's similar to rope dropping.
It's from what I understand though, it's even less chaotic than rope dropping.
Oh,
really?
It's really, we'll get into all of that. We'll get into it all because
Interesting.
Katie's got all the tips. I've talked to a bunch of other people who have given me some great tips that I want to share because unlike Katie, I would not consider myself a runner. Like I have dabbled in running. I've gone on spurts where I've run. I've never followed a training plan. I've always just gone as far as I can whenever I can. Sometimes I would stick to it for a few months, a few days a week, and other times it was on and off. The most I'd ever run in my life was 10 miles. It darn near killed me. I don't know what possessed me to do it. I got to like 8.5 and I felt really good. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. And by 10, I thought I was going to die. And then as an amateur runner, let's say, I thought, well, if I was ever going to do a half marathon, it would be at Disney for a lot of reasons, a lot of the ones that Katie just said. And so here I am, almost 45 years old, doing it for the first time. So let's talk about the Disney races and what there are. There's usually 4 a year. They just came back after a hiatus because of COVID in 2021 with the Wine and Dine half back in November. Now you did that one, right?
I did.
And that was a villain theme, right?
It was villains themed. Yeah. It was really fun. I even have my medal too.
The medals are so cool.
And it has this liquid. You see that?
Oh, that's awesome. So the liquid moves on the potion.
So for those who are listening and not watching, Katie's holding up it's like a dark metal. It's not metal, right? They're not actually metal, are they?
Yeah.
They are? Oh, the Castaway Key one is not metal. This one is, so it is a dark metal and on it is like, villains are always purple. And there's a vial of a potion in there, it looks like. I can't really see it super well. And that vial is actually filled with liquid, but that's so cool.
Yeah, it's Yzma and Kronk. They were like the
mascots.
Yeah.
That's so
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. But they did not chase you like they would have in Paris.
They did not, but we also were social distancing, so maybe they would have.
Oh, I see.
I don't know.
You're right.
Yeah.
That would make me run.
I was going to say, I could do that type of marathon. Someone's chasing me. I could do
that. Right. There you go.
I still can't.
So, So after November, and then the first one for 2022 just happened, which was the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. Now, this is the one where the only one out of the 4 weekends a year where they do a full marathon. The others are 5Ks, 10Ks, and halves, or different challenges. We'll get into that. You didn't do this one this year, but have you done the Walt Disney World Marathon before?
I did the half this year.
So you did November and January, but you're not doing
November and
February.
January.
Sorry, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
Dang,
we did
girl.
it. My husband did the full, which had a really cool medal too, with Mickey
Oh, wow.
and Minnie. It's a spinner. And then they were the mascots of the full marathon. And then I did the half, and this one is Donald and Daisy.
It's gorgeous.
Aww.
You guys, it's gorgeous. You have to watch on YouTube.
Oh, and it has
we'll post them too.
And they're all
right?
iridescent. Yeah, and it's got the iridescent colors. And
that's very cool.
Yeah. So we were there in January also.
Oh, I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
All right. So then coming up in at the end of February is the Princess Half, just a month away.
Yay.
It's crazy. And then this is different, right? So this year they're doing the Run Disney Springtime Surprise Weekend, which I guess, is this replacing Star Wars weekend? Or because that's obviously not on the table, at least for 2022 through spring. When was the Star Wars?
May.
It was always in May. So this is also.
I thought it was right around May 4th.
I thought it was before then in April, but I don't remember.
I always thought it was April too. But anyway, so this year in the spring, we'll just say spring, they're doing this Run Disney Springtime Surprise Weekend. And this is just a 5K, a 10K, and a 10 miler. So it doesn't even go up to a half. And there's different challenges and there's a yoga thing. I'm not sure I really understand what the surprise is. I don't know if it's because they waited to announce what the races were going to be for a while, or I don't know. Do you know, Katie, anything about this one?
I don't. They haven't even released. It's all a surprise.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they have not even released what the medals are going to look like either.
Okay.
So maybe that's the surprise.
Because we know all that information for the Princess Half already. Mm-hmm. We know who's on the medal.
Are you talking about the Springtime Surprise?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it based on rides, it looks like. So like Expedition Everest, they're doing Twilight. Expedition Everest is a 5K.
Right.
And all that.
But what does that mean? Right. So there's the Expedition Everest 5K, the Hollywood Tower of Terror 10 miler.
Is it a surprise because they threw that 10 miler in there? Like they usually don't do that. It's usually the 5K, the 10K, the half.
That's the question. I don't know. But I'm not running that one. I'm doing the Princess Half, which is just coming up. And I did turn to Katie for some advice about this. And so, like I said, that's why I wanted to talk to her today. So as you heard, Katie is a very experienced runner. I don't consider myself an experienced runner, though not a couch potato either. But who can run a Run Disney race? Any half marathon, really. But I think especially a Run Disney race, particularly because they're not competitive. Then it's not a competitive venue. It's a fun vibe. There's a lot of distraction. It's highly supported. Like Katie said, it's really well done and it's Disney. So if you want to bribe yourself with a trip to Disney, here's a good it's a good incentive to run a half. Anyway, I think anyone can do it. I really do. I feel like if I could do it, you could do it. When Jen and I were on our cruise in September, I was just getting ready to start training mid-October, and the Castaway Key 5K killed me. It killed me. Granted, I was running it by myself because it wasn't officially running, but I thought I was going to die. And because I hadn't run in about a year, and I thought, there is no way I'm old. I can't do this anymore. But if you follow us on Facebook, I think I've been killing it.
You have been.
Not to brag, because I did not believe it. Like, I did not believe it was possible. But this is what I'm saying. I think anyone can run. You get what? 3.5 hours to finish the half?
Yeah, they just want you to hold a 16-minute mile or less. So I think that is pretty doable for a majority of people, barring some other circumstances. But
certainly there are definitely physical limitations for a lot of people. But
can you walk it?
So this is what I was going to say. They recommend, there's this guy, I can't remember his first name. I'm sure Katie knows it, Galloway. And they
Jeff Galloway.
And he was an Olympian. And they use this method of training that is seriously, I think of him as Gusteau. Like anyone can do this, just follow the recipe. Although Gusteau, well, whatever. Anyway. So, and the micro of it is run, walk, run. Like if you, to get your stamina up, just do these 30 minutes twice a week and then increasing runs on Saturday, every other Saturday. And you can, what is it? Like walk for 30 seconds, run for 90 seconds. And just keep doing that over and over and over again. Because, and we talked about this on a previous podcast, didn't we? About how it shows that if you actually stop and walk, your overall time will be faster than if you just run the whole time. So if that's your goal, to have a faster time, my goal happens to be just to run without stopping. I just kind of want to, and I've been able to do that, and I'm really excited. But that's me being, let's say, a moderately experienced runner, a slightly experienced runner. But anyone can run and walk. You can, if you just have in your head like 90 seconds, I just got to get through 90 seconds, catch my breath for 30 seconds, run for 90 seconds. If you can do that for 2.5 hours, you can do it. No? Am I crazy?
I agree.
Yeah, she agrees.
Yeah.
So you only need to finish it, I think, in 3.5 hours. And they have these ladies with balloons at the back of the pack that are sort of like the warning, the warning. Yeah, the sweepers. There you go. She's using official race lingo. I don't know any of that yet. But then you can also register.
How do you get to be that, by the way? Because Lori and I'll
do that.
Fabulous at that.
It's this one lady all the time. And I was reading about her. Have you read about her, Katie?
She must be a local to some of those running groups. All of the pacers, they have official pacers in all the races, and they all do the Galloway method the entire race. So I'm assuming, I don't know that for a fact, but I would assume she's affiliated with some of the local running groups that.
So basically we just need to move to Florida and become friends with this lady. And then
Lori and I anyone can strap on a balloon and do the Galloway method at the back of the pack.
Lori and I can be the old ladies with the balloons and the red stags walking around.
There you go.
We can take the old lady part out.
I'm not sure they let you drink on the course.
If it's in my water bottle.
It's water.
It's water.
with what
with my electrolytes.
With it might take you more than 3.5 hours if you do that. But anyway, so you can register for a proof of time if you're a fast runner, if you think you can get done in 2 hours and 15 minutes, right? Then you can, when you do that, you get in like an earlier starting group. She's just not. Feel free to jump in.
Ideally, yes.
Tell me.
Yes. Yeah. You should be able to get in one of the first 2 starting groups.
But does it really matter? Well, let's talk about that in a second. But I just want to talk about also how easy it is to register. Because I will say that I was intimidated by this whole thing. Yeah. I thought it was the secret club that I didn't know anything about. And it just isn't so. Like, I just went online. I looked at the price. There is a fee associated with it. It's not the cheapest run that you'll ever do. But again, it's Disney. And in my mind, worth it. And I just said, you want to commit to this? Because you do have to commit in advance. I will tell you, the races for the rest of the year are sold out. So start thinking about next year. And it also, you need to commit because we're looking at a 19-week training period, especially if you're inexperienced. So it is a commitment, totally worth it. I'm so far really excited and proud of myself, but I'm not there yet. The hardest part is coming. So registering is really easy. You just do it online at runDisney.com. But now let's talk about like race day.
Can I ask a question about registration?
Yeah, please.
Because you said it's pretty pricey for sure. And I know that includes your admission into this race, but what else, like, do you get, are we going to talk about that later? Sorry. Are we going to get like fun swag from that registration fee?
Yeah, let's talk about. Yeah, let's talk about that. We'll go right into that. What does it include, Katie? What's it like? Yeah. So talk to me about, because I think the training part is kind of boring. We don't really need to talk about like the details of how to train for a race, but let's talk about being there and what actually happens. You've registered, you've trained, you're going to make it. What happens?
So included with the registration is your medal, obviously. You get a finisher shirt like this. And They send a virtual swag bag. A lot of races, you'll, get a bag when you go to pick up your bib and shirt, and it'll have like coupons and, other promotional kind of things. So they've gone full virtual on that. And to be completely honest, I have never looked at the virtual goodie bag because that just seems like a lot for me to have to click buttons. So, but apparently there is one. So if you love coupons, they are there for you. So
I have mixed feelings about coupons, actually.
Yeah. So you get your finisher medal and your shirt, basically.
And then, so when you do register, there's definitely options for add-ons.
Yes,
they know they've got
options.
you. And I did add on the Pandora charm for this particular race because it's my first one. And there's all kinds of little goodies that you can buy.
Yeah.
And so whenever you arrive for the weekend, so for me, my race is on Sunday. There's a pre-race expo where you pick up your packet that Katie was talking about. Or you pick up your number. I don't know. She's going to tell me what you pick up. I really have never been to one, but I know it goes on Friday and Saturday. I am going to land on Saturday. So I'll go on Saturday. I don't know if that means I'm going to miss out on opportunities because I'm not there for the opening. I've actually read going Saturday midday is best because everybody goes right at opening or Friday. So what is your experience with the expo? What is the expo? Do I need any of the stuff they're offering there? Lay it on me.
So it depends on how you feel about the merchandise that they're selling. Usually the favorited items will get
Lori
wiped
just
out.
perked because you said merchandise.
Yeah, I did.
They will get wiped out within the first 6 to 7 hours of the first
What's going to get wiped out within the first 6 to
whatever the favorite thing is, like shirts.
Like the Figment popcorn bucket.
Yeah. There's going to be something that goes, very quickly.
I just want a magnet for my car.
And can only people who are registered for the race go to this expo?
Anyone can go.
It's open to anyone. You just need to know that it's going on.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So if there's something, they typically will release on Instagram. They'll show a few sneak peeks of what's going to be offered at the.
I need to get on Instagram
at the expo. Yeah. So you go and it's in 3 different buildings at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. So in the first building that you walk, that you physically walk past will be the merchandise. And if that's important to you, you might want to stop there first. And then, you keep going. And then in another building is where you actually pick up your bib with your number and your pins, your finisher shirt. And then in the next building, no, I said that wrong. First building is the bib only. Second building is the shirt, the bag that you can put all your stuff in. And so ideally, I think their goal is for you to go straight to the bib first, then you get your bag, and then you
fill it with the merchandise.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't have to go in that order. I can go to merchandise first.
Yeah, you can go to merchandise first, which is probably where most people are going to stop.
It's FOMO. I don't want any of it. I just need to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is disheartening news to know that if I get there Saturday midday, the stuff's going to be gone. That makes me sad.
You can find it on eBay.
Yeah, for $900.
Yeah.
We are going to do, we said this twice now. We are doing an episode on merch and the whole culture of merch at Disney. So stay tuned for that. But here it's pervasive. It's even affecting runDisney.
It goes into runDisney also.
Can I ask another question?
Anytime.
How do you get to the wide world of sports? Where is that located?
It was right by my rental house. It's on Earl of Brownson.
So how would a normal person get there if I don't have my car? Would I have to use Uber?
Buses running
they do have buses?
from the resorts, not from the parks, but from any resort you can take a bus. So for Wine and Dine, I actually took an Uber straight to the expo, put my family on Magical Express while it was still running, and they went to the hotel. I went to the expo.
Can you pick up a bib for someone else?
You cannot.
Okay.
Everyone has to pick, unless it's a child.
I get that. That's standard. But I thought, maybe I'll send Andy with the luggage to the hotel and I'll go to the expo. But he needs his bib too.
Yeah. And then for Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend, we were actually at Magic Kingdom that day. So my friend Kristen, who was running with me, we hopped on the monorail, went to the Contemporary, took a bus from there to the Expo. And then from there, I think we went straight back to the Contemporary. I don't remember how we got back to the park.
And then again, like me, who I'm not running, but I'm curious about the expo, I don't need to show any proof or anything. I just hop on that bus and they take me over there.
Right.
Yeah.
And these buses don't run all the time. These buses only run on event weekends where things are going on at Wide World of Sports, because Wide World of Sports is not open on non-event weekends. And I don't mean marathon only. I mean, there's always something going on, really, but that's the only time you can go there. All right. So that's Expo Day. You get your stuff. How long does that take if you're not much of a shopper? And is it crowded? Like, what is that experience like?
No, I wouldn't say it's super crowded. At least the times that I've been. I know if you go very first hour on the first day of the expo, it's going to be very crowded, but I tend to want to avoid that because I don't really care as much about the merchandise. So the times that I have been, I've been able to just walk right in, get my bib, walk right into the merchandise. And I mean, I've seen pictures of, lines of people waiting 2 hours plus to get into the merchandise area. But if that's not a priority to you, then you could easily be in and out in an hour.
I would not wait that long, honestly.
Yeah, no.
I just wouldn't. All right. So where to stay? If you're staying on property, which I think we all recommend for Disney, especially for an event, where to stay. Where do you stay? I know the routes are different for different marathons, and they sort of reserve the right to change them from year to year. But generally speaking, at least for the Princess half, it's really the only one I've studied. We're talking about beginning and ending in or around Epcot.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of typical for most of the races. I tried to do a little bit of research this year looking at past races, and it seems like they tend to start and end around the Epcot parking lot. I guess there's just the most amount of room there.
It's just like a big tease because you're advising us not to have a beverage, and then they just leave us right there.
That's convenient for Lori and I.
Right.
Maybe we can cheer you on in the morning. Head over and cheer you on when you get back.
There you go. Yeah. And I have seen on a lot of these Run Disney groups on Facebook, there are people waiting in the wings to hand a margarita to you as you finish if you know the right person.
I want to talk about the Spectator Experience actually and how it's changed, but can we just remember, because I don't have it in our notes, so we'll remember that for later. We can jump back
to that. Yeah.
But back to where to stay.
Where to stay. Ultimately, I don't think you can go wrong at any of the resorts. And it's hard to say because they kind of hold back the course maps too until, 2-3 weeks in advance. But we could generally assume that it's going to start and end around Epcot. And I think maybe that's because of typically with a big asterisk, it has a later opening time. Maybe that's part of it, which of course is always subject to change because the day of the half marathon, the park opened at like 9 a.m., which I was like flabbergasted by.
I think it's scheduled to open at 9 on the half day as well, which I didn't understand. I have to double fact check myself. But
so I would say maybe you want to consider staying somewhere geographically closer to Epcot so you don't have quite as long of a bus ride.
Because the buses
to or from.
Let's just start with that. The buses start when, Katie?
They start around 2:30 a.m.
Ew.
Yeah.
Stay awake.
So so like for me, I want to be nearby. I don't want to be.
Yeah. Is that because the closer you are to the starting line, the later your bus will be picking you up, or that's just when the buses start and you need to make sure you're on one of the runs?
I just want to be on a short bus ride.
Yeah. They recommend you be on the bus like no later than 3. They still run a little bit after that, but they're going to say you need to be on the bus by 3. And, that kind of helps to cover the logistics of that. But also, for some of the races, the monorail is available. So, but that's not all the races. So for Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend, it was available for the half marathon and the marathon, not for the 5K, not for the 10K. And they make it pretty abundantly clear in the race guides that the Skyliner is not available as an option. So if you're thinking Caribbean Beach, Riviera, Art of Animation, Pop Century, unless you're thinking like, I just really want to stay at one of these, I wouldn't hang your hat on that as an option for transportation.
So, but even if you stay at Lake Beach Club, which is right next to Epcot, you would still have to walk through Epcot at whatever time in the morning to get there. So that's not, you have to take a bus from there.
You can't
you have to take the bus.
Okay.
So that's why I say there's really not a bad option, because you've got to ride a bus either way.
You have to ride a bus no matter what.
Unless you're at a monorail resort.
Getting back to your resort after the race to freshen up or whatever for your day, it is nice to have easier access to and from Epcot that way. And certainly,
exactly.
At that point, if the park's opening at 9, which I'm still working on checking, it wouldn't be a problem to walk through. We happen to be staying at the Swan Reserve. If it opens, can everyone just fingers crossed that it actually will.
The Swan Reserve's open.
It opened because it was supposed to open by February 1st.
No, I passed it.
Really nervous.
I passed it in January. One of my kids went to the bathroom in there too.
And it was open for business?
Yeah. The guys were out there.
Good.
Raleigh was out there.
It did not look promising when I was there in October. I was like, oh my gosh, is this
No. Staff was there. Everything was there.
Good.
Buses were running. You're good to go. You're good.
Okay. Thank you.
So now these buses that we're talking about, this is just for the racers. Are there any spectators or that early in the morning watching you guys at the starting line cheering you on? I mean, not near Lori for sure.
Yeah, there's not a ton, not like a typical city race like Chicago, New York, anything like that. But there are family members of people who are running that do make their way out there.
Is it different now? Is it restricted with COVID for the spectators? Is there a different procedure this year?
I don't think it's because of COVID. I think it's probably, if there is restrictions, it's just logistical. It's just logistical kind of.
So what are those? Because my mother and father-in-law want to come, and I have no idea what to tell them. Where to go, or I know that it's all on the Run Disney website.
Right. But it's not super easy to decipher. Even though it's kind of, because it's just basically like a schedule. So it leaves a lot of room for interpretation. So in my opinion, which, whatever.
You mean just because everybody races at a different speed, or why?
Well, just because the buses to anywhere that you could technically spectate, they start running a little later. If somebody wanted to come to the start area with you, the bus back to the resort, or anywhere else, if they want to okay, I'm going to take a minute now, that bus doesn't start back until 5. So
can they just show up at the finish line around, 9 o'clock like that?
Yeah. Okay. That's what my family has done. They come meet me at the finish line.
And is there parking around the finish line? My mother and father-in-law live in Florida, so they'll drive over.
Yeah, there are parking instructions in the guide that will be published. Yeah, they'll have a blurb about if you're driving your own vehicle, this is what you do.
And am I going to get this emailed to me with all? Because I get
okay, you will. Yeah, you'll get it.
Okay.
But I can send you the link.
The thing. These are the things you just don't even know what you don't know sometimes when it's your first time going through it. And now there is a lot more information out there available on the internet. And then you sort of feel inundated with a lot of information. So again, that's
all kind of comes at the end of when you're okay, my plans are kind of in place and I still don't know all these things. And I don't know how much of that is attributed to everything's kind of we're kind of afraid to commit to too much because of the pandemic. So I don't know in years past if maybe more information was readily available sooner, or
I don't know.
If this is, I don't know.
It's a good question.
I agree. It feels like there's a lot up in the air.
Yeah.
So our best bet for Lori and I would be to meet you at the finish line with your drink.
Yeah, but remember, you're not even sticking around. So whatever. Listeners should know that Jen is leaving the day before the race, or the day of the race, at a 7 a.m. flight. She can't even stick around.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
I know.
I'm not getting
That's
up.
right. Lori's leaving me in Mexico.
I don't get up for anyone at 2:30 in the morning.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to get up at 2:30 in the morning. I'm not going to be done with that race.
Point, how late is Jelly Rolls open till?
Oh,
right.
You mean like not going to bed?
No,
we don't have to run.
8. Anyway, we jumped ahead to race day. Now we're jumping ahead to post race day. We'll fight about this in a minute, but I want to talk about again, you get there, you do the expo, whatever. Now you've got your race day. If you've arrived in time, do whatever you want with this. What do you advise for food? Do I need to carb up? What is this business?
There are lots of opinions on that. I like to have, a little bit of pasta, not a lot of sauce. You want some protein, some vegetables. So my typical meal is chicken parmesan, light on the sauce, and which you can get at any of the quick service restaurants in your resort. That's my go-to meal with a breadstick. But that's just because I like breadsticks. But carbs.
I just figure I'm just gonna eat a not terribly heavy meal.
Yeah.
Just eat like a normal dinner. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And then I, got to go to bed early. How do you get yourself to sleep? How do you, honestly, with a wake up time of 2 a.m, do you really get any sleep?
Oh gosh, no. I wake up every hour on the hour.
Excitement and all of that, and the nerves, and even though, by the way, in training in this Galloway method, you run more than a half marathon distance on your longest training day. So on marathon day, the thing I like about that is you can do this. You've done it and then some, so it's not your longest race or your longest run ever. But still, I cannot imagine being able to chill out enough to sleep, especially with it being my first one and not having any mental picture of what to expect.
Yeah.
And I can't take a Benadryl because I won't get up at all. And
no, it's hard. And I typically wake up every hour on the hour, furiously looking at my watch in the dark, trying to see.
Because when do you even go to bed?
I try to be asleep by 9. That's my goal, but
I have a 5:30 dinner reservation.
Yeah.
So in Disney Springs. So I think I can do it. I think I can be in bed by 9.
Yeah.
Well, then you're leaving us at Jelly Rolls.
My Jelly Rolls plan is sounding much better.
Well, if you guys would be there. Well, now let's get to the post-race thing. Okay, before we start, let's get right into it. Lori, where are you going to be?
Where? In February?
Yeah.
In cold.
Just home.
Stupid Chicago. Yeah. But
Jen is actually going to be in Orlando.
Yes. Jen is actually going to be in Orlando, and she's leaving you right before. So she has no excuses.
My kids have school Monday. I got to go home.
Katie gets a pass because she ran the last 2. So she's
Are you running the princess or no?
She's not.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
I'm this close to entering the virtual half because it's open right now.
Oh, I should have mentioned. Thanks for mentioning that. All of these races you can do virtually. I don't know what that gets you. I don't know.
You get the shirt and the medal.
You get the medal
as I'm looking outside.
You get the medal?
You get the medal.
As I'm looking outside,
would you stop you from just lying about it?
Nothing.
But you still have to pay.
Katie will of course run it, but do you run in this nonsense that's outside right now?
Oh gosh, no. I run in the basement on the treadmill. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit better.
No, I'm a Southern transplant. So this still is too much for me right now.
I've lived here my entire life. And then before that, Canada. And this is too much for me.
I keep trying to tell Lori she needs to move to Charlotte. It's perfect here.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's perfect for you to train for a half marathon, Lori. Go ahead, move to Charlotte.
Oh, I skipped a couple of runs because there was snow on the ground. This is the thing that makes me nervous. What was I going to say? Yes. So back to post-race. Well, you know what? I'm sorry I'm jumping all over the place, but that's what happens when you have 4 people chit-chatting. And welcome to our living room couch, I guess.
And Juliana.
And me, who's all over the place anyway. I know, but you can follow. Let's go back to prepping, the fun stuff. What to pack, what to wear. You told me about some, the way you told me the race is well supported, that they offer water and Gatorade. One of the best tips I got from a friend was to teach myself how to drink from a cup while running so that I don't end up wearing it. Yes. I'm okay slowing down to drink some water. Like, I'm not really that serious about this, but I do think that's a good tip. Yeah. And last time I talked to Katie, she told me about, some gummies like that are just instant carbs and sugar. And I did use them on my last run, my 11-mile run. I started around mile 8, and it really did help me get through. Good. At mile 10, I think I put 5 in my mouth at once because I was like, oh no. And it does, it helps. And I was really proud of that run. Yeah. So all that stuff is great. But like you said, the race is very supported. They offer you those gel things, right, on the race, or no?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think they have those. I like if you're watching, I have the Honey Stinger gels are the kind that I like. And then I also like the Honey Stinger chews, which they give these out on the course.
Oh, they give the chews out on the course.
They give the chews. They might give I can't remember.
Is it essentially the same thing, just a different way of getting it?
Yeah,
like into your system?
Pretty much.
And do you prefer the gel?
I prefer the gel, but the chews are great too. Honestly, I switch it up, and I can't tell you why.
I don't recommend putting 5 of them in your mouth at once. I nearly choked.
Yeah,
I did.
When you're
choked.
Trying to breathe and you can't open your mouth because you're chewing, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a nay for the the gummies. But I'm afraid of the gel. I haven't tried it yet. So now I also feel like running 13.1 is obviously a world away from a full marathon where you have to worry as much about the horrible blisters and the chafing and all of that taping things that shouldn't be taped and stuff.
Why would you do this on purpose?
No, I mean, like running a marathon, running a marathon, people are bleeding. Like I don't feel like I see that with a half. A half is a happy distance, right? Yeah. So what do you pack? Like, what kind of gear do you need? Obviously good shoes, and not new shoes. They have to be shoes you've been using. I mean, I want to have my phone easily accessible. Yeah. What do you wear? And it's cold when you start in the morning, right? So like
it is. Yeah. So there's tricks for that too. Some people, if they're running a challenge, they'll have the Mylar blanket left over from, the day before. If you're only running one of the races, obviously you're not going to have that. So you could get one on Amazon. You just have to be very, very careful not to carry it across the start line with you, because it will block the chip that's on your bib. So, and they'll be reminding you of that. They'll be yelling, drop the Mylar, drop the Mylar. Or you could bring a towel, a blanket. You can wear, a throwaway shirt, and anything that you drop along the course, they will collect and give to charity, which is
I heard
amazing.
That.
Yeah.
The problem is,
so what happens when you drop it?
Yeah, they collect
the person
it,
behind
they
you
wash
trips
it,
and falls on their face.
Right.
Yeah, well, you throw it off the course. You don't drop it right there at your feet. So yeah, right before you're about to cross, everyone will start handing their stuff. If you're like in the middle of the corral, you just kind of pass it to the end, and people will toss it over the fence.
So I happen to really like to run in those 32 degrees shirts. Have you seen them? They sell them at Costco. They're like paper thin, but like thermal, and they fit really nicely. Anyway, I love them. They're great. And you get a pack of 2 for like $7. I haven't seen them at Costco in a really long time, but I wear them under all my sweaters. I wear them to bed. I wear them to work out. And I want to do that, but I don't want to throw one of these away. I mean, they're inexpensive enough. It's just that I don't know that I can find them, and I don't want to lose one. So you had a great trick you told me about that worked for you last time. If you want to literally just throw it away, it is a garbage bag.
Yes. Yeah. So for the Walt Disney World Marathon, it was a leaf bag basically, and I had forgotten to pack it. And oh my goodness, thank goodness, my friend Kristen, who is like my personal running coach, and I love her dearly, and she has paced me to a PR. And this last race, she basically dragged me along to within 3 minutes of my last PR. She's amazing, but she had packed extra leaf bags. So you just, bust a hole in the top of it for your head and just slip it on and just wear it until the start. And then just, pass it down, throw it over the fence before you start. And if you needed to cross the start line with it, it's fine because it's not gonna interfere with the chip on the back of your bib.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea. I'm not sure it would still be warm enough for me. The problem is just the standing there for the hours before it starts. Because once you start running, it's amazing how quickly you get warm.
Yeah.
And related to that is my problem where I'll be cold and I'll want to start off fast and I'll want to pass all the people around me and things like that. So this is sort of a tip that someone gave me, like things I wish I knew before I started the race or before I ever ran my first Disney half, was that it does thin out really quickly. And you don't have to try to use your energy passing those people that are slower than you, because it can get frustrating if you do want to run your pace to be behind people or whatever, but that it's surprisingly fast how quickly you'll get around the other people. And it's a good thing because you're cold and you want to run fast, but you really do need to, for me personally, I need those first 2-3 minutes to be pretty slow. And then I can get a good pace for the rest of the race. Yeah. And I have such a hard time keeping myself going slow, especially when I'm cold.
And if you do a lot of weaving, you're going to be adding onto your mileage. We did a little bit of weaving and I ended up at least a quarter of a mile over 13.1 from all the weaving.
And when you're at 13.1, you do not want to take an extra step.
No. I paid for 13.1. I did not pay for 13.4.
Bonus. You got a bonus quarter mile.
Yeah.
I want to know about, I don't care about the gear. I want to know about your costumes. That's the thing that I love the most is looking at everybody's pictures after the race and seeing how creative people get. So.
Can I ask a question of Mouska fans? Can you all please just send in some simple ideas for me that will be princessy but not over the top? Because
your race is the princess. So
and Andy is absolutely not into it. He wanted me to. He's like, if you can find me an Under Armour shirt that looks like Prince Charming, I'll wear it.
I'm
he's
sure
not going to wear
exists.
cotton. He's not going to wear a cotton shirt to race. You got to wear performance fabric.
Yeah.
So whatever. Fine.
So I want to know, like, what's the deal with the costumes and where do you get it where it is like Under Armour and not cotton so that I can get it for Andy and send it to him because he will be dressing up.
I'll send you guys pictures of all the costumes from these past races so you can upload them. But so for Wine and Dine, my sister-in-law and I, we went as Anastasia and Drizella because it was the villains theme.
I love it.
So any like base gear, it has to be something that I'm used to running in and tested and feels good. So I wore the biker shorts with the pockets so I can keep my phone and like my gels and my chews on the other side. A typical, racing tank top. And then you add the accessories on top. So there's lots of sellers who make these sequin skirts that you can run in. The one for that race I got on Etsy. And then
Is this something that you like practice running in to make sure that it's comfortable for you?
No, people like to. I did not because everything that was added on top was not actually touching my skin. So I wore the base, the shorts and the shirt. I did practice running in them, but the skirt did not touch my skin. So I didn't feel compelled to race or to practice running in the skirt. And then I made a hat. I just bought a regular, performance running hat. And then I hot glued a bow for Drizella's bow on top. And then for the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend, I wore a purple, biker shorts that are just regular that I can run in, forever. And then a shirt that matched it, a white skirt. And then I bought a purple bow headband on Etsy and I was Daisy Duck. And I wore orange compression sleeves on my calves.
Like, if I just give you my measurements, can you just handle this for me?
Sure, totally.
I am not creative. I am lazy, and I I hate to shop like a lot. So,
well, and worst comes to worst, they at the Expo, Sparkle Athletic, which was the skirt I wore for this past race in January.
I'm
and
also cheap. I bet
loved it.
they're expensive at the
I want
Expo.
to say it was like $38 for the skirt.
That's for
Not
something.
bad.
I
But
know, but I'm only
there
gonna wear it
is-
one time
there's a
for
market.
2.5 hours.
There's a market to resell them. There's a quite an active
Why are they like
marketplace for that
special
on Facebook.
Are they
Because
like a hot merch
people-
item?
No,
Because
because
people
people
are
are
like
like
you.
you.
Yeah, they don't want
They-
to spend the money on the new one, so you can resell your stuff to other people that are trying to piece
I
costumes
see.
together.
That's
Yeah,
so much
there's
work.
there's a resale market for these. Yeah.
I feel like you
Yeah.
need to hook me and Lori up with that resale market, and we'll be shopping for Juliana and
Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah. And some people
That's
sell
fine.
their entire get up, so you can just buy
I
head
just
to
do not
toe.
have the time for that.
I do.
Good.
I do. We're doing this. The fans
Yeah.
want to know.
And my husband and his running partner Mike, they did the marathon. They were Tweedledee, Tweedledum.
I love it.
I
they
saw
just-
those. Those were
Yeah,
cute.
so they are they are like yes, I've done several half marathons, but I by no means would consider myself like a veteran runner. Like I'm as I feel super green as far as all this goes still. But they are like serious runners.
Isn't that crazy though that you feel that way? Can I just point that out? Like that's insane. You just did back-to-back halves. You like finished one and started training for the next one.
I'm not really training though.
Well, you're at that point that you could just run a half.
Yeah, I can do that.
And honestly though, I do think that you can get there, like where you just do a few runs here and there.
Yeah.
I've been terrible about some of my short runs. I
But
haven't
you've already
done everything.
You've got the good base in though. You're going to be perfectly fine.
I'll live.
Yeah.
It's for me now, it's just how well do I really want to do in this race? And if it really matters to me, then I have to follow the program so that I can say I did everything I could.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter to me. I
and
know
the
I'm going
way
to finish
I
without dying.
You are. And the way I like to think about it is you're doing the hard part now. Race day, that is your victory lap. So if you just keep that in mind, like you've got the base, you've done the training, your adrenaline's going to carry you further than you could ever imagine just because of the atmosphere and just how fun it's going to be. Like, yeah, you're going to do so great. Yeah.
But my hips hurt and so do my knees. I'm so old. What is that? I need to take like glucosamine or something like that. Like
Isn't that what my dog takes?
I was going to say like you give your dog. Yeah.
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say it for you.
Your dog and your grandma. Those are the ones who take that.
And Juliana.
And me.
Juliana.
Oh my goodness.
Well, at least you're running. I'm so proud of you. Yeah.
Well, thanks. It's
so impressive.
It's an emotional thing. It really is. But I know millions of people do it, so I'm not really special here. But
well,
it's
millions
fun.
and 20,000 apparently on February 27th.
So speaking of victory laps, right? The race, like you said, is going to be your victory lap. So I have, a long run this weekend, and then in 2 weeks I do the 14 miles, and then 2 weeks after that's the race. So I'm going to race. I bought my Epsom salts to pack in which I'm pretty sure I'm going to get stopped in airport security for having like salt in my bag because it looks like a lot of things. So I'm making sure to keep it in its original packaging just in case.
We're going to be on the news.
What does it look like? Like, I don't even know. Anyway.
I don't know. I feel like that's
also
meth, something my grandmother uses for her joints.
Well, yeah, but like Dr. Teal's makes all these cool scented ones now, so you don't even have to spend a lot.
You're very weird.
They do. They have an orange and bergamot one for recharging, and they have a lavender one for sleeping. Katie's looking at me like you don't need any of that, but I like it.
No, you do. I agree. I fully support.
So anyway, after the race, right now, I want to enjoy myself because I've had my victory lap of the race, and I'm sure I'm going to feel both fantastic and a little sore maybe once I stop running. So what do I do? What's my best plan of attack? Because I do have park pass reservations for Epcot because don't ask me to tell you why, just because. And I want to have fun before I fly home on Monday morning. So what do I do?
So my favorite thing to do is to pack a change of shoes, put it in your gear bag that you're going to do for gear
I have
check.
to write that down.
Yeah, just change immediately. It feels so great to just put on a different pair of shoes. And then
you run with those in your bag?
No, before you start, there's trucks.
Excellent question.
The bag that you get at the expo, it's like a big drawstring bag. You put everything that you might want immediately after the race into that bag. I put I typically run with my phone. My husband puts his phone in his.
It's that safe. Like, you can put your valuables in this bag.
Yes. I like liquid IV post race. So I'll put some of these and a bottle of water in there, a change of shirt in case I'm just like really disgusting, like a baby wipe or two to wipe all the salt off my face from sweating, just anything you might want immediately after. And yeah, you before you go to the starting corral, there's these big box trucks, and you walk, you give them your bag. They put a sticker on the back of your bib telling you, like, with an identifier, and they put the same sticker on your bag
for the baggage claim at the airport.
Exactly. Yep. And so then they move the trucks to the finish line, and after you run through the finish line, you then go through a tent where they've got these snack boxes with like a banana, some cookies. Don't ask me why, but the peel top cheese and tortilla chips. And
that's what I want after running for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Right? People love it. It's a whole thing, but I can't get on board with nacho cheese at 7:30 a.m. after running. But anyway, so yeah, that you get your snack box, and then there's the box trucks where you can pick up your stuff. And then that's where I change into my shoes, drink some water and liquid IV. And then right there are the buses that take you back to your resort. Or there's
where do you get your medal?
Right after the finish line.
They're
medal,
just there handing them out. Okay.
Yeah, there's like a whole
those
army
people
of people.
we learned today that they're actually metal, and those people are standing out there for hours with arms full of heavy metals. So props to them.
And all the volunteers along the course. I mean, you think, we're getting up at 2 a.m. on a bus by 2:30, 3 o'clock. They have to be at their stations at 2:30. Like, these people are putting in hours of work, volunteering, and they're amazing, and they're happy, and they're encouraging, and they give you, they can see your face, they can read the room, and they give you a little pat on the back, and
let's talk about that. I'm sorry, we're running long and I'm jumping all over again, but let's talk about that, the course itself. Like, you talked about the characters and all of that. Like, what do you expect? Like, the first, when can I expect to see something cool for the first time? I know that my needs will be met. I know it's a well-supported race with water and goo and gummies and toilets. And we do have a really good tip about that too. But when can I expect to see, like,
I'd say within the first mile or so. There's something right about every mile. Maybe a little longer on some of those highway stretches, but not really. There's a lot to look at.
Do I need earbuds? Like, do I need my music? Don't plan to bring my music, just
unless you really, really rely on that. But I have not.
I don't like to hear myself breathing.
There's music. There's music playing. There's DJs out on the course. They've got these big movie screens that are showing, like inspirational scenes from compiled from several movies.
Okay, so I do not need my earbuds. Back to toileting. You gave me an awesome tip once before as well. Do you remember what it was?
To wait till you get to a park?
Yes.
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 Yeah. Yeah. So, if you're running through the parks, the bathrooms are open. So if you can just hit the porta potty one last time right before you start, and just try to make it to your first park, and then you've got actual bathrooms,
actual toilets.
And then I like to wipe my face and all that.
I mean, it's possible though to do this run without having to stop to pee, right? I mean, I don't know. Like,
if you can do that, I am so impressed and jealous. But
what do you do on your training runs? Do you have to pee on your training runs?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be so nervous about having to pee and not doing it until I get to a park, because you don't get to a park until halfway through, right?
Yeah, it depends on the course, but at least for Walt Disney World Marathon, it was like mile 6.
Yeah, so for the half,
that would be
about a little less than halfway through. And so I'm going to be thinking about it so much, wanting to make it for that first hour without having to pee, that I'm going to need to pee.
Well, there's porta potties all along the way, but if I can wait until I get to a real bathroom.
No, I have, no. I was a nurse. I have a camel bladder. Like, I can hold it for a long time. So on my feet, no less.
I'm just adding to, like, this was reason number 472 not to run a race.
Because you don't have a camel bladder?
Because I don't want to have a camel bladder.
Well, you don't have to. That's the whole point. The race.
I don't want to pee in a porta potty in Disney.
So you don't. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So you've run the race successfully. You've peed when you had to pee. You've gotten your medal. You've picked up your stuff. There are aid stations too at the end. If it's cold, you can get a Mylar blanket, because you will cool off really fast after expending all that energy. Your body's not keeping you warm if it's still chilly out, right? Right.
Yeah, I like to pack a sweatshirt in the gear bag too. Just
good
options. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think, like, you don't need like a towel or anything or in your gear bag.
I mean, unless you feel like you want to stretch or something.
Something to drink, a sweatshirt, and whatever value-wise you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're wet too. If it's huge. Yeah. Even though it might be chilly, it's still muggy.
Yeah, maybe Florida. Clean socks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then you get on the bus and you can go right back to your resort from there, right? Yeah. It's pretty much your only option. You're going back to your resort. Like, you can't just like hang out.
You can. Yeah, I mean they've got music and stuff, and like they sell drinks. They've got drink tents and leftover merchandise. This is after the finish. Yep. Yeah.
And this is where you'll find your spectators if they're meeting you at the finish line.
Yep.
Okay. So you just have to like pick up your phone and be like, I'm standing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a family meeting area?
Yeah, right past the gear check. And it's all kind of right there. Like all of it's there. So there will be a lot of people depending on your finishing time. So it might be helpful to either have your phone on you or in your gear. There you go. Or in your gear bag so you can contact the people that are meeting you.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm back at my hotel and I probably really want to take a nap, but I'm guessing that's a terrible idea. Like, I'm thinking everything would seize up and I would be miserable if I did that. Yeah. So instead, maybe pop a few ibuprofen.
Yeah. I like to get in the tub for like 15 minutes.
And get close with Dr.
Soak in the
Teal.
tub for a minute. Yeah. Get close with Dr. Teal. Take a shower, get dressed. I mean, because at that point, it's really only like 7:30, 8 a.m.
Yeah, you've already had a whole day.
Yeah. I know.
So if you can shower quickly, you can make it to your first lightning lane at, 10 a.m.
Can we talk about that? Are you like running and getting lightning lanes like while you're running? Because if the race starts at 5 or 5:30?
5.
So the race starts at 5. I'm not finishing in 2 hours. I'll be thrilled if I can finish in 2.5. So that means I'm still racing at 7:30. And I keep saying racing, but let's be honest, I'm not racing against anyone but me. I'm running, maybe running. I might be crawling. but so like, you got to slow down a minute and do your lightning lane, no?
You could. I didn't. My husband was running the full, so we were running on different days. So he was in charge of getting our lightning lanes. So you could just give one of the girls your password and login. Let them get up.
Sleeping.
Make them wake up.
I'll wake up. Give me your password. What are you talking about?
I'll make your lightning lane. I'll log in and make your lightning lane for you that morning.
Friend.
Nope. You can have her.
I'm a handful. I am a handful.
Or just, set an alarm on your phone so you can just slow down a little bit.
I want to see how many people on the race course at 7 a.m. are pulling over.
I will wet my pants and take pictures, actually, because I actually don't need a lightning lane for that day. We're going to be at Epcot. Frozen. We're adults. Frozen's not a big deal. And maybe Andy will want to ride Remy because he's never ridden the one here in the US, but it's my kids aren't coming, so it's a non-issue for me. But for others, good to know. Get someone else in your party to do it. Duh.
Yeah.
Or
or
slow
run
down
while
a
you're
little
doing it.
bit and do it.
So you said that you like to have your phone handy. I want my phone handy because I want to take pictures. I don't.
Yeah.
We talked about the characters, so people stop and wait in line.
They do
on the course. So like, there's another way you can sort of take a break.
Yeah, totally. Some people run from character to character. Yeah,
I don't
did
intend
not
to do that.
I can't get on board with waiting in a line to take a picture.
Especially after all this work I've done.
Character.
To
Are you seeing characters that you don't normally see? And so
rare characters. Yeah. Will Robinson was on the race course. I mean, like,
that's cool.
That's really cool.
I've never seen him.
But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do like Lori with what's his name?
With Josh D'Amaro.
With Josh D'Amaro.
And I'm gonna just selfie as I'm gonna slow down and selfie as I run by. And because like
that's what I did.
As cool as the characters are, and as much as I love Disney, this is also like
this is a
big accomplishment for me. This is my first and probably only, and I've worked hard, and I want to see if I can meet my goal.
Yeah, I'm with you. I couldn't stop.
That's sort of antithetical to the whole Disney race thing, that it's fun and it's not that. I mean, I'm still going to have a great time. I intend to have a very good time, but I also am running.
Yeah.
But anyway, how do I keep my phone easily accessible? Do I wear it on my arm? Do I like put it? I'm afraid of putting it in my pockets because I don't really have hips or a butt to speak of, and my pants fall down.
Okay. We're going to have to think through this because
that'll definitely be in the news.
That's what I use is the pocket on the leg. But maybe you could get like one of those Lululemon running belts or another kind of running belt. I don't like it on my arm.
Right? I mentioned that.
Okay.
But you're not all you're not
bougie.
Yeah, you're a little bougie.
But I don't wear Lululemon. I like Old Navy.
What about those things
on the arm?
Yeah.
They chafe. They do. Even at only like 6 miles, they chafe.
Yeah.
You know what though? I think if I get like a high-waisted like short or skirt, like which is all you can get nowadays anyway, then maybe that'll help. I'm going to try it.
Is there something you can wear on your hand?
Yeah, it's just annoying.
Probably,
like I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just annoying.
But I will say for wine and dine, I used the pocket on my leg. I ended up running with my phone in my hand almost the whole time because there was so much to take pictures of.
And a pop socket is so easy. I just stick it between my fingers and hold
it could be a
that
non-issue. Like you might end up holding it in your hand the whole time anyway.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not really running for speed. I just want to start and finish.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered everything. It's hard to know because I completely went out of order but whatever. Everyone gets the gist.
It's exciting.
This is how you talk to your girlfriends, right? Did I miss anything? Do you have any last minute tips?
Gosh, I don't know. I think the best post-race treat you can give yourself is a beignet in the shape of Mickey's head.
Oh,
yes, all over that.
So that might influence where you stay.
Do we? I mean, we can give that secret away if you want to, Katie. I asked Katie earlier where to stay, and there apparently is a runner's favorite.
Yeah. DM me if you really want to know.
You can share. We only have one listener. It's okay.
I think the crowd favorite that I would argue would be Port Orleans French Quarter because there's only one bus stop. It's a lot smaller and it's not as far to walk post race to your room. And there's beignets.
I was
going to say that's the beignets.
That's the reason.
We'll meet you there. That will be your true finish line.
Right.
Well, I appreciate all the tips, and I'm sure that I will be texting and emailing and whatnot for any other questions that I have because I do not like not being the expert on one of these endeavors, but I appreciate your help.
Yeah.
But we have for anyone thinking about running, we have a Mouska tip, right, Jen?
We do. This whole episode has been basically one big Mouska tip because it's a little bit different from what we've done before. But the most important tip that if you've been thinking about running any half marathon, Disney is the place to do it. It's the best place to start. The vibe, as you guys have heard the girls talk about today, it's very relaxed. It's fun. The course is flat, which is key if you're new to racing.
I hate hills.
So for this one, you're just putting one foot in front of the other, and literally, of course, this is required for running, but we mean, go ahead and just take the first step, sign up, make the commitment, follow the steps, respect the distance, and have a great time. And we're, of course, as much as we joke, we're going to be cheering Juliana on, and we can't wait to hear and get the debriefing after she gets back. So best of luck to Juliana, and it's going to be fun. We can't wait to hear and take pictures.
Yes. Jen needs pictures. All right. Thanks for spending another episode with us. How about you? Do you have any running tips for Juliana here to help her through her first race? And if you've never run Disney before, or you were inspired to give it a shot, head over to our Facebook group, Mouse Moms Podcast, and let us know. Follow us there. We go live with all the news out of Disney for the week on our new time every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, guys.
Bye.